Good morning. Welcome to Atlantic Blowout. Atlantic is a syndicated live program of the network and conversation on special interest topics, news, events, and stories through correspondence reports, experts' opinion, and stakeholders' analysis. Today we'll be looking at these stories. Cross River State, Obi slams ADC Secretariat attack. Edo State, family apologizes over son's bullying acts in school. In Osun State, police arrest 2 customs officers for killing driver. Kano State, 8-year-old dies in construction site. And in our economy, NLC demands tax relief cost of living allowance. And finally, the president visit to the UK. Federal government is alleging a plot to embarrass Tinubu. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on X, Atlantic TV Net. Also watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. We're going for a short commercial break. When I return, I will introduce my guests for today. Welcome back, still on ATN Blowouts. Joining me this morning in the studio is none other than Mr. Emmanuel George Deima. Good morning, Mr. Emmanuel.
Good morning. I'm happy and excited to be here.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
You look good, by the way.
Thank you very much.
And I like your glasses. I told you last week that I wanted to go home with this, but somehow...
Well, maybe I will donate it for you.
Please, I really appreciate it. Okay, on that note, let's delve into today's stories. Former presidential candidate Peter Obi on Sunday condemned the disruption of the African Democratic Congress Secretariat opening in Bakassi local government area of Cross River State, describing the incident as an attack on democracy itself. In a statement via X released on the development, Obi said the attack by suspected thugs reflected a worrying decline in democratic standards in the country. Obi also warned that the erosion of leadership standards and tolerance of political misconduct could push the country towards violence. The former governor of Anambra State spoke following the disruption of the planned opening of the ADC Secretariat in Bakassi on Saturday by suspected political thugs. Reports indicated that the attackers stormed the venue of the ceremony, dispersing party supporters and destroying canopies, loudspeakers, chairs, and other equipment arranged for the event. A video circulating on social media showed a group of youths forcefully dismantling the setup while shouting that the ADC would not be allowed to operate in the council area. Every week, a fresh political turmoil, and as we get closer to the 2027 elections, it keeps becoming more and more rampant. I think this is the second or third attack on ADC, first then Amici, then this one now again. Before I move on to what that means or that looks like to our democracy here in Nigeria. Is the ADC such a strong opposition come 2027 that this unnecessary violence keeps happening to them all the time? Because I know that some other political parties have had, well, usually it's internal. I'm talking about the Ocean APC and what's not. But AD, Peter Obi was ambushed and attacked by a known gunman. Amechi Funk was also by an unknown gunman. Now that could confidently walk in the ADC and then destroy their ceremony, saying that they are not allowing the ADC. Would they be as such a strong opposition come 2027?
It seems like, because it is quite unfortunate and very sad why people are physical violence. We are a democracy. They have a right, a constitutional right to choose their leaders. They have a right to choose the leaders of their choice. So why are you trying to make it difficult by hiring thugs? I will call on our security agencies to carry out an investigation. Those who are culpable, those who are found guilty should be prosecuted, because this is a threat to our democracy, to the values we share, to freedom of expression and of speech, right, within the confines of the law. Why are you attacking these people? If you have I'm not accusing anyone, but the ruling party, a lot of the governors, they are now, most of them have decamped, the popular term they use, to the ruling party. They have, out of 36 states, many state governors, more than 90%, right?
34 out of the 36.
Out of the entire, almost all the governors have moved to the ruling party.
Yeah.
You have the local government chairman, you have all the political structure. Why are you tensed, right? The fact is, if you have delivered, if you in leadership, those in power, they should understand that you don't go vote for you. The people you hire people, you people should campaign, people should express their political ideas. It is what builds a democratic structure, a democratic system. It is what will solidify our democracy. Yes, there's no perfect democracy anywhere in the world, but why are you making it difficult? Whoever, I'm not accusing anybody, is responsible, because ghosts are not involved, spirits are not involved. Those who are hiring a human being, those who are, my appeal is to the young people, honestly, because it beats my imagination when you see people, their children, the children of the politicians or the elite, you won't see them going to do this thuggery. They have been sent outside the country to study, to acquire the best of education anywhere in the world. It is the children of the poor people that they have kept in poverty for a long time, that are recruited for, they won't give them good jobs, they won't provide quality education for them, they won't provide opportunities for them, but the best they can give to them is to arm them, recruit them as thugs and political mercenaries to perpetrate violence in the society. So my appeal is to the young people: free your mind from mental slavery, stand up for your right, understand your political identity, know who you are. You are not a puppet for a political experimentation by the mischievous characters who felt that they are the ones that own the society. You should stand up for your right by thinking for yourself by realizing that you are not just a liability to the society, but an asset to the society. Know who you truly are, develop your mind, and let us all embrace peace. Peace is priceless.
Okay, peace is priceless. Speaking of peace, the Nigerian police confirmed the incident and said officers were deployed to restore order, describing the attackers as hoodlums. But according to Peter Obi, this keep happening without arrest. We're yet to hear anybody being arrested for the attack on Peter Obi. Oh yes, though they said somebody came out and then made some claims of being behind the attack on Peter Obi. But other than that, Amechi, we've not really heard anything concerning that. All the other political riots that's been happening, we've not really heard any arrests or whatever. Obi is reacting to that and saying that attacks to attack political parties without arrest encourages violence in politics. Do you agree with him on the statement?
I very much agree with him, because impunity encourages more violence. When people feel that they can commit crimes without being persecuted, it emboldens that violence and rage in them. But when the rule of law is fundamental to the peace, stability, and development of any society, where the rule of law is absent, the rule of law and lawlessness becomes widespread. But where there is the rule of law, there is a structure in that society. Those that are the incentive to want to participate, to become a participant in violence, becomes reduced or limited, because if you're caught, you'll be prosecuted, years in prison, you'll be punished in accordance to the law. You don't want to do that. But when you feel that you can go and commit a crime and you have one godfather somewhere that will protect you, that will cover for you, that will defend you, that will protect your interest, your selfish interest, because you're working for them, it emboldens it. So when we talk about security, we should not always use the reactive approach of security. I've talked so much about the proactive approach. You understand that there are non-state actors and bad elements in the system that like to exploit that political environment. The security agencies should not wait until they come to attack. That is why it is important in intelligence gathering, in a structured security, in a system that is structured, that there is intelligence gathering and partnership, understanding the trajectory, flashpoints, the pipeline of violence, the flow of violence, the traffic of violence. You have sat down and you have looked at it, you have studied it, you understand that, okay, there's going to be a political event here. From looking at past events, what do we do to ensure that there is no political violence? What steps do we put in place? What proactive measure do we put in place? Are we going to provide security for that event? The governor of the state is the chief security officer. The chief security officer should ensure that he is fair to everyone, irrespective of the party. You are the governor of the state. You're not the governor of a party alone. You are the governor of the people of that state. There are different tribes and religions in our country. You are the father. When you are in leadership, you are father for all. There should be no selective leadership. Leadership should be dispensed for the good of the public. As a father, you have a good father will not always be discriminating against A, B. They are all your children. They came out of you, your loins. You, as a good father, will love their children. Some might be doing well in mathematics. Others might not be good in mathematics. But you will not say, oh, because this one is good in mathematics is my favorite. This one that is good in arts is a bad child. You are expected to play a fatherly role to ensure that you care for all of them. You love them. You provide, there is fairness and equality and justice. These are terms that the politicians talk so much about. The practical aspect of it, they don't practice.
Speaking of which, Peter Obi also warned that we have poor leadership standards and political intimidation that could push the country towards chaos. Again, do you see the lack of accountability on these individuals' part, because nobody's holding them accountable to their actions? You rightfully pointed out that they're operating with impunity because they have the backings of some of these political figures whom they are operating on their. So what does that speak to our leadership standards here in Nigeria, and also when it comes to our political place? It's violent. I mean, we have not even entered into campaign period. Imagine when we enter into campaign period, or when the election it's here, or the day of the elections. This is almost giving us an insight to what could happen come 2027. So what does that speak to our leadership structure and then our political place in Nigeria?
It shows that most of our leaders, they have seen the scorecard that they have not performed well. So that's why most of them are embracing violence, because they know they've failed woefully. They've not performed well. If you have performed, if you have delivered, if you have provided leadership for the people, to transform the society, to liberate the people, to uplift the people, to empower the people, you don't need to be violent. You don't need violence. You don't need to force the people to like you, to love you. Leadership should not be forced on the people. The people, there is a collaboration. There should be a collaborative atmosphere of leadership that is people-driven and people-focused. So most of these politicians, they understand, they realize, there is self-realization that they have failed the people. And so that's why they are embracing violence. But my appeal, my message is that let us embrace peace. The people of Nigeria want good governance and leadership. They want peace. Right? Peace is not just a sense of war. Peace is also a state of mind. Peace is an atmosphere. Peace is an attitude. Peace is a mindset. Peace is a culture. Peace is a project. Peace is an investment. We all must realize that a flying bullet does not stop to first ask you or your religion before it strikes you. And there is a saying that those who live in the glass house should not throw stones. All of us are Nigerians. We all have our dreams. We all want a better society. We all want to put food on our table. We all want good education for our children. We all want good health care. We all want to walk the streets in safe societies, safe neighborhoods. Why can't we live in peace? If you have a political ideology that is different from mine, you are a Democrat, you are a progressive. It's just like in the United States of America, Republicans and the Democrats. The Democrats have their own political ideology and their political philosophy, like the Republicans have their political ideology and their political philosophy. The Republicans believe in a stronger military, they believe in deregulation, they believe in they don't believe in the cultural issues like men playing in women's sports and all that. The Democrats have their own political ideology, what they believe in, what they stand for. But what makes a democracy work is not just a statement. It's not just a statement. It's not just a speech. What peace in a society is not a product of imagination. It is a product of action and the right investments. 2027 is fast approaching. We must ensure that the heated polity, there is a regulation. The polity is overheated by the political actors. The political actors must realize that your grandchildren will grow up in this country, and the legacies you leave will speak for you.
All right. The legacies you leave will speak for you. These are the words of Mr. George Deima. Moving on. Family of a student involved in a viral bullying incident at a Benedion Education Center, Benin City, has issued a heartfelt apology for their son's actions. In a statement released on Sunday and signed by Team Asoro, the family expressed shock and embarrassment over the video, which showed two male students beating and kicking another student lying on the ground, while a third student recorded the incident. They directly apologized to the students affected, the boy's family, and the school community, stating, "To the students who was affected, we want to say from the depths of our hearts that we are truly sorry. No child deserves to be treated in such a manner. Our heart goes out to him and to his family." The family confirmed that the victim is physically fine according to medical reports, but stressed that the emotional distress caused is taken very seriously. They also extended apologies to the school management, teachers, parents, and students of Ebinedion Education Center, and said it deeply saddens them that their son's actions have brought distress and negative attention to the school community. Bullying in our schools has almost become a culture. It has become a way of rite of passage in schools. And we've seen some unfortunate incidents whereby the students involved will lose their lives. Often than not, nothing happens to the child involved other than expulsion. Is it time for us to start taking bullying? We know it's a criminal act, but what do you think about parents and even the schools following through and making sure that the students involved in such assault cases are apprehended by the police and then being made to go through the arms of the law?
Before you even go to that point, you have to look at parents, right? Because a child grows up in a home. The family is an institution that helps in shaping the posture, the mental and moral posture of a child. The family as an institution is integral, is valuable, is vital, is a pillar in the society. There are many pillars in the society. The institution of the family is one of the pillars in society that plays a valuable role in shaping and molding a child. So if that child was disciplined growing up, he won't want to bully others. He won't want to beat up. I saw the video. It was heartbreaking how he was flogging a human being. Even some animals would be flogged like that. I appreciate that his parents are apologizing, but they should and re-evaluate themselves as parents, because they are failed to a large extent. Because when the child was growing up, they would have structured that child, disciplined that child, and what you see today is many failed parents, many failed families, broken families, because they have failed to properly raise and mold the children. Now bullying is a problem. It's not just the physical bullying. We have bullies even in the political space. We just talked about political violence. We have emotional bullies. We have financial bullies. In this case now, a physical bully. Now, how do we structure, how do we rescue the ship from sinking? How do we raise a generation of men and women with morality and values, with a value system, young men and women who understand the importance of respect, the dignity of the human life, the value of hard work, the diligence and the attitude of respect for others? It falls back to the school, the family, even our religious institutions, and the government and our community leaders. Because a child that is wayward didn't just become wayward. That wayward child has gone through a process of conditioning. He has been conditioned by the family. He has been conditioned by the environment. He or she has gone through that conditioning process. When I was growing up, in my family, when you misbehave as a child, you'll be flogged. not to kill you, but to correct you. The rod was not spared, right? You are taught at home that, see, respect people, respect elders, respect even your mates, your friends, your peers, your contemporaries. It is a message. It is practical. And you see your father, you see your mom, you see how they treat others, you see how they respect others, you see that value system at home. You as a child, when you go to a larger, to a broader society, you replicate what you inculcate. You can't replicate what have not been inculcated in you. You are a reflection. You are an exhibition of what you have digested. You are a showcase of what you have been structured with. You are a reflection of your ideology. You are like a flashpoint of your culture, of what you have been. There is a cultural process that has taken place.
I do understand all of that, but I want us to look at the legal the legal implications. I understand the family role in ensuring that they raise children that are good society. The bullying or whatever could have started from the home. Maybe these children may have seen the violent nature of their fathers or uncles towards other people, or like I said, it could just be a school culture thing that they came to meet in school and felt the need to pass on that culture, quote and unquote. But the legal implication, like I said, most often than not, after the child has been expelled from school and then the victim's parents receive some support from the abuser's parents, it's usually swept under the rug, and then this same child will be outside the school or be sent to another school, and the same problem keeps reoccurring. It keeps moving on, keeps going on, because these children don't see the implication. I mean, if we had started from the ground roots, right, train them properly, letting them know that violence is not the way forward, whether it's a culture in school or not, it's not the way forward. Let's say we've already missed the mark. Now they've performed the acts. Should there not be some severe consequences to their actions? If I'm not to jail them outrightly, but the fear of the law, knowing the implications of their actions in the future, such incidents, what do you have to say towards that, Mr. Dama?
Yes, before I will address the aspect of discipline and some punishments to correct such bullying sickness in our society, there are things you learn from life. There are lessons you learn from life. And there is also what life will teach you. If you fail to learn from life, life is a school that teaches us many lessons. Now, if life will teach you. And when life teaches you what you have failed to learn from life, it becomes more serious. In the aspect of this young boy, like many, both girls and boys are involved in the bullying. There should be strict disciplinary measures put in place to serve as a deterrent to others, but also there be some therapy and rehabilitation process, because it's just like drug abuse. Many young people fall into drug abuse. It becomes an abusive thing, right? Now, while you're trying to discipline them, to punish them, to serve as a deterrent to others, you don't need to throw them off, right? You need to also ensure the recovery process, because they can become ambassadors that can also go out there and tell other young people, once a bully, bullying does not pay, but now I am a changed person. Change is the only constant thing on earth. We've heard that a lot of times. Now they can become another phase of recovery. They can become ambassadors. They can become role models. They can become a shining example of someone that was broken, that is now fixed, right? So there should be a recovery process, a rehabilitation of people that are genuinely interested in recovering, but also they have to be a rehabilitation, because you don't just take off the bullying shirts. Like you wore a shirt of bullying, you don't just take it off. It goes through a process. There must be a process of recovery for the people, for those that are involved in bullying.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Dama. State Police Command has arrested 2 officers of the Nigerian Customs Service in connection with a shooting incident. A driver dead in Osogbo on Sunday. The incident occurred on Sunday at the Dada Estate area of the state capital. In a statement issued on Sunday by the Public Relations Officer of the police, Abeodin Ajelabi, the suspects were identified as Kolawole Sutu and Danjuma Samuel. According to the statement, the officers were reportedly chasing suspected Tokumbo, also known as foreign use vehicles, when the incident occurred. The police added that the corpse of the yet-to-be-identified victim had been deposited in the morgue. During the operation, the police said several items were recovered from the scene, including a Beretta pistol with breech number 125024, 11 rounds of 9mm live ammunition, 1 expanded 9mm shell, and a white Toyota Corolla with Lagos registration number AA400GQ, and an ash Toyota Corolla with registration number GFQ0982. The command assured the public that anyone found culpable would face the full wrath of the law, and urged residents to remain calm while cooperating with security agencies by providing credible information that could aid the investigation. The use of force by our security operatives, our security personnel, I mean, it's so many questions here. First of all, as is popularly known, is not a crime in Nigeria. So it's safe to assume that maybe this vehicle was not properly cleared, hence the chase between the victim and the customs officer. But why the use of unnecessary force? What if we had innocent bystanders on the road? Because look at the number of ammunition that was mentioned, just chasing one individual in a car. Is there no way for our security operatives to operate in Nigeria without the use of too much force, exorbitant force on the people they are meant to protect?
I have advocated for mental health, and I continue to advocate for mental health. We need to invest in the mental health of our security officers all over the world. Governments realize, they understand the importance and the connection between mental health and productivity, and the individuals, the security operatives, they go through a lot of stress points in their day-to-day activities, in their relations with civilians, in their personal issues, the toxic environments, the evolving nature of security threats. So I also call for professionalism. You as a security official, you are dealing with civilians. The weapon, the arms, you are armed to protect. You are not armed to destroy. Your mission is to fight against the bad elements in the society, but the abuse in our system is as a result of the lack of professionalism. We are very good, diligent, hard-working, committed security officers who are committed, who are sacrificing their time, their energy to protect the system. But there are also the bad elements and bad eggs in the system that there must be some checks and balances. Now, I have heard of a case that happened in a state, I won't mention the state, where a security officer beat up a driver to death because of 100 naira or 200 naira. The man was beaten to death. Maybe because the man refused to give him the money, the officer joined hands with other people and beat this man to death. and the passengers have to flee. So there must be professionalism, and we must also look at the triggers, the forces and the factors that conditions these people to act the way they do. It's just like the book written by a famous psychologist. He talked about the temperaments and the forces that regulates the actions of people. Man is an emotional being. He's also a social being. And man's action is not in a vacuum. It is a result of both emotional factors put together. So that's why I advocate for mental health services to be provided, periodic mental health check for our security officials, hospitals providing this mental health support, so that those that have mental health issues, the quick result is they arm with them. Right? So there will be minimal cases of this abuse in our system.
All right, other than periodic mental health evaluations for our security personnel, how about the training of our security officers also in the non-lethal methods of either intercepting or handling of civilians? More often than not, I can understand a situation where maybe their lives are threatened, maybe in a gun war with armed robbers, terrorists, bandits and all. I can understand that. But in a case that could be civilly, handled, a case that could be handled in court, a case that could be handled in a non-lethal way, shouldn't our security operatives also be trained in that? I mean, we should balance the equation. It's right to assume that before they were given authorization to operate as security personnel, they may have already gone through this mental evaluation, right? But how about the non-lethal method of handling such cases? I mean, this is a chase. It could be possible that this man may have not cleared his vehicle through the customs, so he was trying to evade arrest. I can understand that. But does it amount to them shooting at him just to intercept him? Is there no roadblock? Is there non-lethal way of handling situations such as this? Shouldn't we be more focused on training our officers in the non-lethal methods of handling such cases?
I think it's very important that we train them in the non-lethal method. There is a non-violence approach in addressing civilian issues like this. In the training, there also should be disciplinary measures, so that to ensure that there is a check, there are checks and balances in the system. Because when a security officer or official abuses privilege and power and position, it should be disciplined to serve as a deterrent to others who want to abuse it. You don't express yourself with bullets while there should be dialogue. That's why non-violent, non-lethal approach in dealing with civilian dispute should not be a one-time training. It should be a continuous training. With other health support services like the mental health support, like welfare packages, and like other professional trainings that will help build a professional security force that understands one major thing: we are here to protect lives and properties, not to destroy, but to protect. Not to destroy, but to protect, to safeguard. That mentality, that sense of reasoning will displace those bad actions and bad attitudes that you're seeing right now.
Okay. All right, let's move on to another unfortunate and preventable incident. 8-year-old girl Siyama Idris has died after accidentally falling onto an exposed iron rod at a road and drainage construction site in the Tudunwada area of Nasarawa local government area in Kano State. An eyewitness, Abdul said the tragic incident happened on Sunday near to Primary School, where road reconstruction and drainage expansion work is currently ongoing. Yusuf told a local newspaper that the girl had been sent to a nearby shop to buy something for iftar when the accident occurred. According to him, residents usually cross the drainage under construction using a temporary wooden plank because there is no proper pedestrian bridge. I mean, so many things that it's actually pointing to me. So the construction work is being taken place in the vicinity where children are meant to be. You know, we're talking about a school and what's not. Sometimes, right, I sometimes feel like certain things should come automatically. It should be common sense that if we are building a road or reconstructing a road and drainage system around the school where children, pedestrians, civilians are going to use, the proper thing to do is to put up certain safety measures to ensure that people are protected. I mean, I wouldn't plank as a way to cross. I personally, I think I have some phobia, so I cannot even, no matter how small the gutter is, if my hand is not being held, I cannot cross it. You know, so I'm actually imagining what the child might have gone through in such a high-risk environment. Mr. Deima, please, what do you have to say to this? Because I'm actually baffled about the story.
Common sense is not common. I don't know if it's common sense. Common sense is not common. An unexamined life is not worth living by anybody. I didn't say it. A philosopher said. Now, the mind, the infrastructure of the mind is very important. Safety. In construction, we pay attention to safety measures, not because we are sissies or weaklings or people who are fearful, but because an organized system must embrace a safety culture because lives are involved. Your life and the lives of others. In a construction process, you pay attention to safety and you ensure that flashpoints that will to your life and to the life of the people around there are dealt with. Your preliminary observation and safety assessment will take into consideration those flashpoints. I believe that the preliminary safety evaluation, either it ignored the flashpoints, or it is negligence, or it is poor leadership responsible for what's happened.
I was going to ask that because there's the reconstruction of a drainage system, right, and then roads. So that means that it's either a state project or a federal project. Now, in this instance, the police are saying that investigation into the incident is. I mean, I'm not the police. I can't tell them how to do their job. But as far as I'm concerned, this is cut and dry. It's an accident that happened in a construction zone, a construction project around a primary school. So in this instance, who should we hold responsible? It was a private-owned construction. We know that, okay, the owner of that firm will be held accountable for their action because it's like we said, common knowledge that if you're having such high-risk projects in a primary school, even if it's a secondary school, I mean, primary, that means that they're very, very young. That means certain safety measures should be put in place. So in this instance, a young life has been tragically lost. Who should we hold responsible? Is it the government in charge of the project, or is it a construction company that were employed to handle the project, or is it the parents who had sent a child, you know, without proper adequate protection? Who should be held accountable in this instance?
There are many shareholders that should be held responsible. It's like a stock market of blame, and there are many shareholders who have shares in the stock market of blame. Life have been lost. So for me, I'm not so much interested because it won't bring back the child. Even when you the construction company, the school, the people around there. A life, precious life lost because of negligence and lack of common sense. And as I said earlier, common sense is not so common. I wonder why people call it common sense. But what can we learn and extract from this to prevent future deaths, which could be preventable if we do what is right, if we do the right thing, if we stop this superstitious belief, batting, God, very little thing. People say, God forbid, but they don't learn. You learn. This unfortunate incidents should regulate the construction, carry out in this case. Why not evacuate, leave that place, because it's a high risk environment for them. It could be a flying object that could pierce into the eyes of that child, and the child becomes blind for life. So the way forward is, this should serve as a lesson for all of us. Safety is not an imagination, it is a reality.
All right, of realities. Nigerian Labour Congress on Sunday demanded urgent intervention from the federal government to cushion the effects of the recent spike in petrol prices, calling for a cost of living allowance, a wage award for workers, tax relief and immediate steps to revive the country's public refineries. The Labour body said the sharp rise in fuel prices, now selling between 1,170 naira and 1,300 naira per litre, has worsened the economic hardship facing Nigerian workers and citizens, warning that the nation risks severe social unrest if urgent measures are not taken. The NLC also accused the government of leaving Nigerians at the mercy of volatile global oil prices triggered by the escalating Middle East crisis, noting that the situation has exposed the fragility of Nigeria's downstream petroleum sector and deepened the suffering of workers and their families. The statement titled "Save Nigerians from this Shock, an Urgent Relief Has Become Necessary," signed by its president, Joe Ajaro, the Congress said NLC voices the collective anguish of millions of Nigerian workers who are bearing the brutal cost of a global capitalist crisis they did not create. The military escalation involving the United States, Israel and Iran has sent shockwaves through global oil markets. As a result, petrol prices in Nigeria have skyrocketed. No need to go further. I think this has painted a bad picture, a sad picture, or I don't know, a sad economic reality picture of our current crisis in Nigeria. I mean, everyone is complaining. Sometimes, in as much as we should hold the government accountable, we as individuals should also hold ourselves accountable. Yes, the prices of fuel has increased, but motorists, vehicle operatives are also taking advantage of it. But then again, you cannot blame them. These are all like crisis merchants taking advantage of unfortunate situations. But would you agree with the NLC in saying that some cushion, some relief to cushion the economic effect of these actions by some parties that has got nothing to do with Nigerian workers should be put in place by the federal government?
Disappointed in the Nigerian Labour Congress.
You are disappointed?
Very disappointed, because
okay.
You only hear about them once in a while. They come up and then they share a press statement. We are disappointed with what is happening in the country. Nigerian Labour Congress, that's a platform that involves all Nigerians, irrespective of who they are. It's a voice for Nigerians. But what is happening to that voice? I remember in this same country many years ago, when you talk about NLC, Nigerian Labour Congress, during this fuel hike and all that, you will be they sensitize the people, they constructively criticize the government. It's not that they oppose to the government. It's not that they should fight the government, but they have the platform to constructive criticisms and sensitize the people so that the people become a sensitized and informed and updated workforce with the collective mandate of improving our society. Now, we have to ask ourselves, our economic reality is as a result of our economic decisions. We are talking about the skyrocketing price of petrol, and they are attaching it to the Middle East crisis and all that. But as Nigerians, we must ask ourselves, what have we contributed to this problem? What is our own personal contribution to the petrol crisis? All of us, we have one share, one area we have contributed to the problem. You talked about the greed. Greed is a major aspect of it. There are some petrol stations. Maybe you buy the petrol for 2 naira before the prices skyrocketed. You kept it, and now you are selling at the current prices to make double profits. You know, you want to make more profits. Are you not contributing to the problem? It is not just, yes, it's not just the government, because even the government, they are a reflection of the people. The government, they are human beings. They are not spirits. They are a reflection of the people of the nation. If we want to have a better, stronger, powerful, working society, we need to have a better, powerful, working people with the right mindset and the willingness to do the right things at all times.
They also spoke about our refineries, that if our refineries had been working, yes, we understand that global prices of oil has skyrocketed. I mean, due to no fault of ours, we have a body, an international body that regulates global oil prices. We understand that. But if the government had also worked on our refineries, there would have been a way that we could have cushioned the effects on, you know, the citizens of Nigeria, like most countries are also doing. Not long ago, we used to enjoy fuel subsidy, and unfortunately, we are still trying to, you know, adjust to the current reality that there's no more fuel subsidy. But if our refineries had been working as well, and then we had, you know, enough reserve of crude before this skyrocketing prices, there would have been a way for the people to have been cushioned, to have been protected from, you know, the cost of this. So in this instance, shouldn't we blame the federal government for not doing their job in the first place?
Well, I think there's one job they're doing very well.
Which is?
There is a refinery that is functioning very well. That's a political refinery. There is that refinery, irrespective of your tribe, your religion. They don't care about that. They don't care when they want to share money or they want to do anything. They don't ask you, oh, what's your tribe? What's your religion? One refinery that is functioning very well is a political refinery and their political structures. Leadership is the engine room of societal transformation, because when you have the right mindset and the right leadership, leaders with the capacity to serve, leaders with the mindset to produce, leaders with the mindset to transform, leaders with the mindset to reproduce, to build, to multiply, to increase, to grow, to strengthen, those kind of leaders, they're not going to wait. In some countries, if a pregnant woman dies in the hospital as a result of negligence, the government, that prime minister or that political appointee will tender a resignation letter that I have failed. Why is it not happening here? You have millions of Nigerians suffering as a result of the petrol price. The multiplier effect of it has impacted our health sector, our educational sector, all sectors. How many people have resigned? The refineries, we keep talking about it over and over and over again, like the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over, expecting a new result. What is the result? We will keep talking the problem until we are ready to work for the solution. Solution is a product of our workings. That's why in mathematics you have a problem, you solve to get an answer. If we want answers, we must solve. And we must ask the hard question, the difficult question, and we must be willing to do what is right to make it work. We can talk about the refinery is not working from now to the next 20 years. It will not still work because it needs people to make it work. It needs leadership to make it work. It needs accountability to make it work. It needs productivity to make it work.
To make it work. Speaking of which, federal government says it has uncovered an attempt by an embattled mining company, Jupiter Limited, to launch what described as a campaign of calumny against Nigeria during the planned state visit of President Bola Tinubu to the United Kingdom, following a dispute over revoked mineral licenses. The Ministry of Solid Minerals Development said the alleged move was aimed at discrediting the federal government's reforms in the mining sector and misleading the international community about the circumstances surrounding the revocation of certain mineral licenses. It said the company and its associates were allegedly preparing to circulate what it termed misleading claims about the Nigerian mining sector to discredit the government's ongoing reforms. In a statement issued on Sunday by the Special Assistant on Media to the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Segun Tomori, the ministry insisted that the allegations Nigeria seized a British lithium project under armed guard were false and misleading. He explained that the controversy stemmed from the revocation of mineral titles belonging to Basin Mining Limited, a Nigerian company linked to an Australian national, Steve Davis, who allegedly funds several mineral entities operating in the country. According to the ministry, the revocation followed the company's failure to meet statutory financial obligations under Nigeria's mining regulations. I think there's going to be a clear case of corporate activism and our national image. Time again, we've seen the issues that our mineral resources here in Nigeria have caused for us, like negative issues. Today we know that major reason behind our northern turmoil is due to the same mineral resources, and unfortunately it's in the hands of a few. Kudos to the federal government to reform the mining sector to ensure that the right thing is done. The people involved in mining of these resources, are doing it in the right manner. Now, our federal government is saying that these people plan to embarrass him should he get to UK due to them revoking a license of one of these mining operatives. Mr. Dama, what do you have to say concerning this?
Now, what I would say is just simple. If someone is planning to embarrass you, you prepare for the person. Get your facts. Yeah. So I believe that the Ministry of the federal government delegation to the UK have their facts. For the fact that they are aware that people that ask them at the international platform, they have facts that they can use to displace such misinformations and misconceptions about them. So people will try to embarrass you, but when you have your facts, your superior knowledge is going to speak for you. Your works will speak for you. Yeah, so that's what I can say.
And also, one will also ask that, is the federal government just trying to paint a picture, a certain picture ahead of time because it knows, that it's going to happen? Maybe certain channels were crossed that was not meant to be, because like you rightfully mentioned, if you have and you have the information, this is going to happen, what you're going to do is prepare ahead of time so that the community involved or the negotiation, whoever that you need to talk to about it, will be spoken about before coming to the public. But it is a clear case of crying before going before the judge. I'm innocent. Why don't you save that so when it gets to in front of the judge and then state with your facts why you're innocent? So what do you have to say concerning that angle as well?
I think it's up to the federal government to go there to to the international community and share their own stories and share their facts, and it could be verified by the international community. So that's up to them to do.
That's up to them to do. Thank you very much, Mr. Deima.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the time.
This is where we wrap it up on this episode of Atlantic Blowout. We are open for advert placements, bookings and commercials. You can also connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on X, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Remember, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Open Conversation comes up shortly. Please don't go away. Thank you for watching. I am Antonia.